An unthinkable scenario, yet one that haunts strategists. Israel and the US overthrowing the Iranian regime. Who would take power? How would this chaotic transition happen? And what would be the explosive consequences for the Middle East and the world? Prepare to delve into a what-if that could redefine the future. The power vacuum, the complexity of regime collapse. The overthrow of Iran's theocratic regime by external forces would not be a simple operation and would have immediate and long-term consequences. The first challenge would be the resulting power vacuum. Iran is a complex nation, with diverse ethnicities, political factions, and a history of strong nationalism. Who takes over? There would be no clear, unified successor waiting in the wings. Instead, a scenario of fragmentation and power struggle would be highly likely. Various groups could try to fill the vacuum. Reformists and secularists. Within Iran, there are movements seeking a more democratic and secular republic. They could emerge, but their ability to control the country would be uncertain. Exiles, opposition groups based abroad, some with Western support, might attempt to return and take control, but they would face internal resistance and accusations of being puppets of foreign powers. Military and Revolutionary Guard. Even with the regime's full elements of the armed forces and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, would still possess power and resources, potentially fighting to maintain influence, or even attempting to establish a new authoritarian regime. Ethnic groups, minorities like Kurds, Azerbaijanis, and Baloch, who have long sought greater autonomy, could seize on the chaos to declare independence or seek greater self-governance, leading to internal conflicts. The how of transition. Chaos and internal conflict. The way this transfer of power would occur would be crucial and likely marked by violence and instability. State collapse. Iran's centralized power structure could collapse, with different regions and factions fighting for control of resources and territory. Civil war. A large-scale civil war among the various groups seeking power would be a tragic and probable scenario. This could draw in regional actors and external powers, transforming the conflict into an even larger proxy war. Prolonged external intervention. Israel and the US, even if initially not planning a long-term occupation, might be forced to intervene to maintain stability, protect nuclear facilities, and prevent a total collapse of the country. This prolonged intervention would face strong resistance from the Iranian population and could become a costly and unpopular quagmire. Humanitarian crisis. Internal conflict and economic collapse would lead to a severe humanitarian crisis, with millions of internally displaced persons and refugees seeking safety in other countries, further destabilizing the region. The updated scenario. Additional complexity is given the current geopolitical landscape. The overthrow of the Iranian regime would have additional complexities. The war in Ukraine, the US would be simultaneously involved in supporting Ukraine against Russia. Opening a new large-scale conflict front in the Middle East would drain military and financial resources, as well as divert attention from other global priorities. The rise of China. China, with its growing interests in the Middle East, would likely view the regime's overthrow as an attempt to undermine its regional influence. Beijing could indirectly support anti-Western Iranian factions, further complicating the situation. Russia's role. Russia, a strategic partner of Iran, would also strongly oppose a US and Israeli-led intervention. Moscow could provide support to Iranian groups, seeking to maintain its influence in the region and challenge American hegemony. Regional polarization. The overthrow of the Iranian regime would exacerbate existing sectarian and geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, with Saudi Arabia and its allies seeing an opportunity, while Iranian-backed Shiite groups in other countries could react violently. The nuclear question. The fate of Iran's nuclear program would be a major unknown and a point of intense dispute. Whoever took power could have different views on the matter, and ensuring the control and security of nuclear facilities would be an urgent priority to prevent proliferation. Global implications. A more unstable world. The fall of the Iranian regime would have implications that extend far beyond the country's borders. Energy crisis. Prolonged instability in Iran, one of the world's largest oil producers, would cause a global energy crisis, with oil prices soaring and impacting the economies of all countries. Increased terrorism. Chaos in Iran could create fertile ground for the growth of extremist groups, which could launch attacks worldwide. Power realignment. The fall of a significant regional actor like Iran would force other countries to rethink their alliances and strategies, leading to complex and unpredictable power challenge to international order. A successful intervention led by Israel and the US would raise serious questions about state sovereignty and the right to intervene, challenging the rules-based international order. In summary, the overthrow of the Iranian regime by external forces, given the updated scenario, would be a seismic event with catastrophic and far-reaching consequences. Far from bringing stability, it is likely to plunge Iran and the Middle East into a prolonged period of chaos, conflict, and uncertainty, with significant implications for the rest of the world. The who takes over would not have a simple answer, and how it happens would likely be bloody and destructive. Do you believe the risks of overthrowing the Iranian regime outweigh the potential benefits? Let me know in the comments.